Welcome back. Today we're going to explore another dish from The Bear Season 1. Now this comes from Season 1, Episode 1. This is Sydney's staff meal. It's very common for a new sous chef or a new cook to come in and be given the task of making staff meal. One of the first chefs I worked for would give you a dirty job, a clean job, a job that requires precise knife cuts, and then finally would have you make something for staff meal. For Sydney's staff meal, she made picadillo with white rice, smashed and fried yellow plantains, and an arugula salad with fennel and lemon. Now, picadillo is something that's near and dear to my heart. It's something that my grandmother would cook often when I was a child. Picadillo has an incredibly long history. It dates back to the Iberian coast when it was under Moorish rule. Portugal, Spain, and Basque region all have some kind of variation of this dish. And because of colonialism, it spread throughout most of the Latin world, from the Dominican Republic to Cuba, all the way down to parts of Mexico. So this is my take on Sydney's picadillo. Start with our garlic. 12 whole cloves. With our knife, smash. That's all we want to do with all of our garlic. Next up, our onions. We've got 2 medium-sized white onions. So for onions, we're just going to slice straight down, then across. I'm going to cut off the tips. There's all a little yellow there. Nice and thin slice, all the way down to the whites. We're going to use the greens as a garnish, and it's going to go into the cook. The whites are going to cut about 1/4 of an inch thick. Typically we use sweet bell peppers for the chili component, but I saw these at the market and could not resist. These are literally called sweet pointed peppers. They're sweeter than a bell pepper and have more of that chili flavor without any heat. So I've got 3 of these. We'll slice all the way down lengthwise so we can see the seeds. Cut around, straight down. I'm going to come back right here. We want to make sure we get rid of all the seeds because they are incredibly bitter. I'm like this. I'm going to come on, cut them all in half, make it a little easier to work with. We want to cut these all down to about this size, about small dice. So we're looking at about 2 cups of diced peppers. Now for our herbs, we have some picked cilantro here. This is a half of a bunch that was picked. So I'm going to roll it up and just give it a once over. Sliced paper thin. And after that, right into our parsley. Same thing. Just crunch it up. Just slice as thin as you can. And last but not least, our olives. These are just small green olives. We're just going to cut them in half lengthwise. We've got a cup here. These also double as my martini olives. Alright, I've got my large hex-clad wok right here. I'm going to turn our heat up to 300 degrees. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. We're going to wait for our pan to heat up. All right, we're going to start with our peppers and our onions. Now we just want to sweat these down. We don't want to get too much color on them. When the peppers start to get turned translucent, we're going to add in our garlic. Just give that a stir. Now right when you start to smell your garlic, we're going to add in all of our spices. Add 1 tablespoon of sweet paprika. 1 teaspoon of crushed chili flakes, 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne, and 1 teaspoon of cumin. Give that all a stir. Make sure it's all incorporated. Let's make a well right in the center. I'm using 1 pound of 85/15 ground beef. Use my handy dandy masher here. Now that most of our meat is turned brown, we're going to deglaze with a 1/2 cup of red wine. We're going to cook this until our liquid is reduced by half. Let's add in my olives and 10 ounces of chopped tomatoes. I'm using the Tommy brand. And we're just going to cook this down until our liquid reduces by half. I just killed my heat. I added in our cilantro and parsley. Give that a good stir. Add in our green onions. Now for the taste test. Getting all the spices, the heat from the chilies. Needs more salt though. I'm gonna add a full tablespoon. Always have to check your seasoning. Even if you follow the recipe exactly, check your seasoning. There we go. It's got the brininess from the olives, the sweetness from the peppers and the tomatoes. Very garlicky. That cilantro, parsley, scallion mixture is really coming together. It's gonna be perfect over our white rice. Next, let's talk about Sydney's salad. She kept it incredibly simple and to the point. And me being from California, it's something very reminiscent of almost every restaurant I've ever worked in. The simple arugula salad with fennel and a lemon vinaigrette. We're gonna start by slicing off the top. Hold on to this, we're gonna use all of the fronds. We're gonna cut right down the center. Slice as thin as we can. If you don't use all of your fennel, just wrap it in plastic and put it in the fridge. You'll need to use it in a couple days before it starts to oxidize. Right, next up, we're gonna take our fennel fronds here. Just pick them off. You wanna grab the nice tender ones. If they have big stems on them, just discard those. Now, since it is tomato season, we're gonna take these beautiful ripe cherry tomatoes and cut them in half horizontally. Now for our citrus. Nice fresh lemon vin. So we're gonna take our microplane, hold it right here. We're gonna run it across. We're holding it up like this so we catch all of the zest. We're gonna zest this entire lemon. Let's cut our lemon in half and juice it. Make sure to catch all your seeds. Next up, I'm gonna add about a teaspoon of Spiceology's Jalapeno Pilsner. Mix that in. Give that a good mix. Now we're gonna drizzle in our olive oil. We're not trying to emulsify, we just need to mix it in. Now I'm just gonna pour this right back in here. Our picadillo is done. All of our salad prep is done. Now on to the final component of Sydney's staff meal, the fried plantains. All right, so we have our plantain here. I'm using a semi-ripe one. This is kind of in between a green and a ripe plantain. Cut these about 1 inch thick. Let's get our pan nice and hot and get these in there. I'm gonna turn my pan up to 325 degrees. Let's get some oil. Now that our pan's nice and hot, let's drop in our plantains. We're gonna cook these until we get a nice caramel color on both sides. That is the perfect color we want right there. Now I'm gonna add in about 2 tablespoons of butter. Season with a good amount of salt at this point. About 2 teaspoons. We want to get that nice nutty brown butter flavor throughout these. Now if you want, at this point, you can add a little bit of sugar to sweeten them up if you want, or keep them savory. I'm going to flip these all over one more time so they can just bathe in all this brown butter. Now we're going to kill the heat and let these just cool down in the pan. While our plantains take on all that beautiful brown butter flavor, let's get our salad going and start plating everything up. I'm going to start with our fennel and our cherry tomatoes. I'm going to pour in all of our vinaigrette so it really soaks into everything. Give that a stir. Add about a teaspoon of salt. Next we have all of our fennel fronds. Just gonna tear them up. Drop them in. Now for our arugula. Nice big handful, about a cup. Now let's plate up. If we're gonna plate, we have to plate it up properly for a kitchen. Let's set our salad to the side. Now for picadillo. We're gonna start with some plain white rice that I cooked in my rice cooker. Now let's just add our picadillo stew right on top. That's all ready, and let's finish up with our plantains. Now, in the show, she smashed them. Since these are a little riper, I'm going to just leave them whole. Now it's going to pour all that brown butter right over the top. And that is Sydney's staff meal. Let us start with the picadillo and rice, something that I grew up eating a lot of. Absolutely perfect meal. The stewed beef, the olives, the cilantro, the parsley. And it tastes even better a day or two from now. Now on to my rendition of Sydney's salad. Lots of fennel, some arugula, cherry tomatoes. Good olive oil, light, refreshing, very summery. And last but definitely not least, our plantains. Semi-ripe, a little bit of brown butter, some salt. Look how beautiful that is. I love plantains. And that is my take on Sydney's staff meal. This is also something that I have served for staff meal many, many times in restaurants I've worked at. If you want to check out my takes on the rest of the dishes from The Bear Season 1, click right there. If you want to check out some of my cocktail videos, click up there. Until next time, I'm Ron the Cook.